Hey, what's going on YouTube? It's the CJ. Welcome back to episode 34 of the Innovative Marine 75 EXT Reef build, also known as the Be Easy Reef. If you stumbled across this video by mistake, hit the playlist, get caught up. We got tons of stuff we've covered this build. In this video, we're going to focus on a little tank maintenance. Now, as you guys can see, we are putting the final touches on the Be Easy Reef, scraping the glass with the Aquaforce Ultra Scrape, and then we're going to clean the outside of the glass with the AF Eazy gloss. Now I gotta admit to you guys, I love cleaning the glass because this stuff smells so good. I can't explain it. It's not your normal Windex, and it's definitely reef safe. So I don't do this all the time, but for the video's sake, why not clean the glass and get you guys that nice crispy HD view, especially after all the work I've put into the Be Easy Reef over the last 24 hours or so that we're going to cover in this video. So for those wondering what I used, I figured I would share it with you. Ever since I built the foam board canopy for the lights, it's easy to forget what kind of lights I'm running on this tank. So for those that are curious, I am still using the Aqua Illumination blades. I have 2 grows and 2 glows. I have them kind of offset, staggered, and the coloration of these things is absolutely fantastic. You literally cannot see where the bars are over the tank. When you look over the tank, you see them. When you look down into the tank, perfect blending and definitely getting the job done. I'm probably going to have to turn these up a little more in preparations for SPS, but we'll cover that in a future video. I'm probably going to do some new PAR readings and maybe a deeper dive into the settings I'm using. But for those that were curious, I figured I would share. These lights still performing fantastic, and if you're thinking about it, I would go 4 in this configuration to give you that perfect blend like I have over the Be Easy Reef. Now, as much as I would love to have a completely wide open system, the way my sump is configured, my biomedia just gets clogged with detritus and poop and food, so I'm forced to use some kind of filter pad to protect my biomedia. And Amazon to the rescue. I cut up one of these pads around 7 months or so ago and just now ran out, guys. I mean, considering I swap these things out maybe once every, couple weeks or so, I don't really care about, any nutrients building up in them really there until they clog up, and then I throw them away. So around 17 to 20 pads, I wouldn't doubt if this doesn't get me through the rest of the year. So, $15 or so on Amazon. If you're looking for a cheap solution, this should be the one for you. Now, as I'm looking forward to the brand new Trident MP being released here soon, figured I'd give you guys a quick peek at just how easy the maintenance is, at least for now. Swapping out the reagents as soon as the Neptune Fusion app tells me, it pretty much is, swap a bottle, screw it back on, plug it back in, and keep it moving. Haven't really had to do any major maintenance yet. 6 to 7 months, no issues. Something else I want to share with you is going to be this Joe's Juice. Seen it on BRS's site. I really wasn't sure if it worked or not. One thing I will say, any Aptasia that is facing upwards, where the paste can set on top of it, it does a good job of killing it. Anything that's in the crevices, 90-degree angle that can kind of retract, the next day, it pops right back out and starts waving. So, the Aptasia Chronicles continue. Maybe, just maybe, the Molly Miller Blenny that I added, a few weeks ago will finally start eating these things, because that fish is one that had a reputation, or at least, I read online, it's supposed to eat Aptasia, but all he does now is just sit on the frag rack and look very suspicious, like he's thinking about eating SPS or something he's not supposed to do. So verdict's still out on the Molly Miller Blenny and the Aptasia and the Be Easy Reef. We still have a lot more work to do on the Be Easy Reef, continuing the maintenance and trying to manage this hair algae and the nutrients is all manual labor for me at this point. Even though I added all those hermits last video, I still have to get in here and knock down the algae to a minimal amount to where the hermits can actually eat it. Now, unfortunately, after pulling it out, tweezing it, scrubbing it, everything I can, I finally had to resort to trying to kill this hair algae at the roots. So I'm using peroxide. Now, I did this once before and it actually worked until I had to purposely raise the nutrients to kill the dinos. But this time around, things are kind of getting back on track. So I figured I would go ahead and do it again. So not telling you guys, pour peroxide in your tank. I did this with the water below the rock that I was peroxiding, let it fizzle, sizzle, and all that. And then I refilled the tank with a pretty large water change, around 25 gallons, and haven't noticed any real negative impacts as far as corals. But also keep in mind, I have a ton of Eazy corals in here. I don't have anything really sensitive right now. So it's pretty much now or never. And I'm hoping this, for the long term, gets the job done. So after all that work above the tank, kicking the water back on, I was hearing way too much noise down in the sump. So I decided to take a look. And of course, the skimmer looks like it's going to overfill. Tons of nasty, stinky stuff in there. That Simply Aquatic skimmer has been a monster. For 1 year straight, I haven't even cleaned it. And that thing just continues to produce. But the culprit of the noise was going to be the algae scrubber. And to my delight, we have had a hell of an amount of growth since the last update. Since I adjusted the light and the actual intensity, meaning from 4 lights down to 1, let the screen grow a little bit, increase it to 2 lights, and then boom, here we go. So scrubber is completely grown in, almost to the point to where it's clogging the drain line, and that's why the noise was happening. So it's finally time to handle this, do a little harvest, but I figured I'd share the progress with you guys on the Santa Monica Rain2 Algae Scrubber. So for those that missed the last video, we do have a winner of the Advanced Marine K1 Calc Stirrer, and it's going to be Drunky McAwesome. That is one hell of a name, Drunky McAwesome. But he was selected via random comment picker on YouTube, and he won the stirrer. So congrats to you, my man, and shout out to all the support and everyone that participated in that. We definitely are going to try to do that again. Not sure what product it's going to be, but hopefully one in the near future. And there was also a little Easter egg at the end of the video for those that stay tuned. Actually, it wasn't those. There was one person who actually caught it, and it's going to be my man, Mike Lemon. For those that have been on YouTube long enough, put the Mike and the lemon emoji in the comments. Give my man a shout out. Go check out his page. Hit the subscribe button. Let him know CJ sent you, because he participated, watched the video to the end, and definitely deserves the shout out. So I appreciate you. Continue to support my channel, my man, and definitely check out his build. I'm loving the way his scape's looking, and I'm loving the theme and just the whole style of it. So shout out to you. Now, if you follow me on Instagram, you already seen this part of my tank, but if you're new, this is going to be where I run my carbon on the Eazy Reef. And I asked the question, where do you run yours? Are you a media reactor kind of person, or do you want to throw it in the sump? I find that putting in this nice, convenient, external overflow box works for me. The main reason is easy to access, and the second reason, I really feel like it benefits the tank more because all of the display water is hitting this carbon before it even goes to the sump, where water, goes a lot slower. And to me, I feel like adding it up here also lets you not have to rinse it because it's just going to get mechanically filtered as well. Either way, this is where I run it, so I'm curious where you run yours. There's an old saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Well, not going to fool me 3 times with dinos on the Eazy Reef. So we gotta keep up with our nutrient checks, especially with the explosion of growth on the algae scrubber. And I gotta admit, I am surprised to see that we are finally within the range that I was looking. So, we definitely have nutrients under control. So now it's time to finally go through and do the nasty, stinky stuff. That means cleaning out the nasty skimmer cup. As you guys can see, a good old paper towel, wiping it out. And the fun fact is I still haven't technically serviced this skimmer, meaning cleaning the motor, and it's still running solid. Now, the first harvest of the Rain2 Algae Scrubber is going to be the fun part, because I haven't really scraped a full algae screen since I had the 120-gallon system years ago, and it's very satisfying. Look at all that growth. Man, I didn't even realize I had that much until I pulled it out, and a lot of that algae was down inside the drain tube, which was clogging it. So it was definitely overdue for a cleaning. Now the key is you don't want to clean it too much. So I just take a scraper and just kind of scratch off what I can. Make sure to leave plenty of, algae left on the screen and the grids and the, squares or whatever else is there. If there's any leftover on the tube or a little leftover in the tray, all good. That's just going to continue to seed the algae scrubber for the next round of growth. And so far, I feel like we are getting things tuned in. Of course, getting the water flow right is important. making sure you don't want to blast too much water through the screen. And I do increase the flow as the algae grows to kind of feed it more. But other than that, Algae Scrubber is rolling, and I'm definitely happy with the results so far. We got nitrates around 8, and we got phosphates around 0.04. So what that means is we can definitely start feeding more. Another thing is looking at the algae's color. If it's darker versus lighter or slimy, if it's light like this, definitely means that we got the tank pretty much right where we need it to be. But just to make sure that we don't get close to bottoming out, I did adjust the auto feeder, going back from 3 feedings a day to 4. And then eventually, as we continue to test and continue to try to get things dialed in, I want to increase the feedings to maybe 5 or 6 times a day, but less feedings during each round, meaning less food more often. So that way, the fish are happy, pooping a lot, plenty of nutrients in the water, but no waste. So we're going to see how this plan works. So far, so good. So are you guys exhausted yet? Because I tell you, that was hours and hours of tank maintenance. Edited, time-lapsed, condensed, and put together for you guys to sit back and enjoy on your couch or in your car or, wherever you're watching the channel right now, to kind of let you guys know that I'm putting the work in, definitely doing my best to maintain the tank and get it back in tip-top form. The continual bounce back from the dynos is definitely making strides every day. I'm happy with the progress that we're making so far. And I gotta admit, some people look at maintenance like a hassle or a job, but for me, it's pretty therapeutic, especially after you're done. You get to sit back and look at the tank and be like, man, that looks so much better than it did before I did all that work. Glass is clean, rock work looks good, the sand bed's completely clean, water crystal clear. I mean, this is definitely what you're in the hobby for, right? And for those curious, this is going to be the final result. The SPS arch is completely algae free. Now, of course, there's some bald spots where the peroxide killed the algae and anything else that was on the rock. But for me, that was a good trade-off because now this rock is just that much closer in my preparations for adding SPS back to the Be Easy Reef. Last thing I wanted to do was glue acros on this rock, knowing I still had algae everywhere, knowing I still had to manually remove stuff. I just didn't want to do that. So for now, we're making progress. Now there is something worth noting. The Snowflake Clownfish are definitely officially a pair. No more fighting. They stay nice and snuggled inside this anemone, and they're really close to the rockwork underneath it. I'm not sure if they're preparing it for anything, but if it's going to be some kind of breeding activity, I'm definitely looking forward to that because it will be my first time in the hobby ever having a saltwater fish breed in my system. So I'm hoping that these guys are preparing for something special. Now, something else I want to mention to you guys is going to be the leather corals in my system. These things are so temperamental. It's like, I don't think I've seen a day where all the leathers are open all at once. Right side, things are looking good. This leather is completely open, taking up space. Left side, this one is sulking. So tomorrow, it'll probably be just as big as the one on the right. And then that one will be sulking. So not really sure what makes leathers open or close or, what pisses them off. I'm not really sure how to remedy that. But I would love one day for all of them to be fully open, extended, polyps out, and just doing their thing. There was something else I noticed. This toadstool has completely deformed itself, meaning self-fragged and been dropping babies all over the Be Easy Reef. Now, the ones that I wanted to keep, I actually planted in a different, place on the tank, but the other ones are just kind of floating around like tumbleweeds in the flow. So I'm not really sure what to do with them. If someone wants a leather coral, let me know. Definitely can have any of these, throw them in your system and see what they do for you. It's a beautiful coral, but it is too prolific. That thing is dropping babies everywhere. I don't really know how to stop it. So there's something else I want to mention. This Japanese weeping willow is looking fantastic. And just overall, I think the system is just looking the best it's looked in a long, long time. I mean, we are getting real close to the point of being comfortable. That good comfortable where things are just going right. When they're going so right, you're just hoping nothing goes wrong. We are slowly approaching that point in the Be Easy Reef and definitely approaching the point of finally filling that void of corals on the SPS arch. That's right. I'm definitely going to be adding some more here soon. So for those that are curious, sand bed completely clean. I don't really do anything besides stir it up every now and then. And other than that, the tank's just doing what it do. So hopefully, you guys have enjoyed this short, random update on the Eazy Reef. It's not really anything bad to talk about. Everyone, loves negativity. I swear I feel like when something goes wrong, everyone watches the tank. When I put a video out where things are going good, no one watches. I'm not sure what that's for, but for me, we're going to continue documenting the good, the bad, the ugly, the triumphs, and everything in between, because we are in year 2 of this system, and I finally feel like we are going to get over the hill and hit our stride and hopefully grow some SPS. So at this point, if you want more updates or want to stay tapped in a little more often, make sure you slide up to my Instagram, hit the follow button. I'll definitely post there daily, or at least 3 or 4 times a week. And then if not, if you're on YouTube, you guys know what to do. You guys can like, comment, subscribe. You guys keep doing what y'all do. Y'all be easy and happy reefing. Peace.